Welcome to the Face to Face. I'm your host, Genevieve Carla-Five. The Face to Face is a bilingual series of video recorded here at the Société francophone de Mayerville. We acknowledge that the Société francophone de Mayerville operates on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Kwikwetlong. We thank them to continue to live on these lands and care for them along with the water and all that is above and below. Today, we are speaking with Gina Chong. Gina is the founder of the Tri-Cities Asian Arts and Culture Society, and she is also the founder of the Dumplings Festival. Welcome, Gina.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're really happy to have you here. And my first question for you today is I want you to share with us like how everything started, and I think there was a very key moment
Yes.
that I also want to talk about.
For sure.
About a video that went viral on social media.
Mhm.
So go ahead and tell us a story about the beginning.
For sure. So it was in April 2021. We were just kind of in the throes of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at that time, people were starting to get a little bit more comfortable. They wanted to go outside. People were going for walks. And at that time, a friend called me out for an evening walk. It was a beautiful day, and it was actually quite busy at the park. So we just started our walk, and some lady came up to us and said, "Can you take a picture with my phone?" And we kind of just said, "Sorry, no, we don't have sanitizer," kind of thing. And we kept on walking, and she said in quite a loud voice, "This COVID, it came from you. It came from your country. Go back to China." And we just stopped in our tracks. We were just completely shocked and dumbfounded, like, who would say something like this? So, I took out my phone, we turned around, we went back to her and said, "Can you repeat what you just said?" And she eventually said on camera, "It came from your country, it came from your country." And towards the end of the video, you could hear some lady, just a bystander, on a bench saying to that lady, "Stop being a racist, we all bleed the same." And so that was caught on camera, and we just didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. It was shocking. People were around, so people heard what had happened. Some people were like, "Don't worry about her, she's just, saying nonsense." But we were pretty shaken up by it. And so I went home that evening, and I really had to think, what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Do I post it up on social? Like, I think on a normal, like, if it wasn't COVID time or it wasn't anything, it just, I might not have recorded it or done anything about it, right? I might have just left the video. But I thought, you know what? People need to hear about what's happening. And so I just posted it on my own social media, on my Facebook page. And one by one, people started to comment, and they started to share, and then they started to tag, the media outlets. And very quickly, this post just snowballed. By the next morning, I couldn't tell you how many people have viewed this video, and it became viral. And so once that incident happened and once it became viral, I was contacted by the news, and I did an interview with CTV, and that's kind of how it all came about. It was surprising to me, to be honest, that people were commenting so much on that incident. I mean, for me, there was no violence or there was nothing like that, but I think it did resonate with people, and it was kind of the start of all that anti-Asian hate kind of talk and rhetoric and, stuff that you heard from the States and from what Trump was saying. And so I think kind of after that time, I thought about it, and it really did make me feel a little bit fearful of the community that we lived in. Who would say those type of things? And if someone could say something like that, who's to say that if my kids were on the street, someone wouldn't say something to them, or my parents, or my in-laws? And so, when I thought about that, I felt, okay, people need to hear about this. They need to know what's happening in the community.
Yeah, a piece of education was needed.
Mm-hmm.
And we did hear a lot about Asian AIDS, but that's the way to say it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate saying that word, actually.
Yeah.
But I saw some incidents, people of different places, even in the Tri-Cities. Yeah, like,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
being that's total blank straight racism.
It is.
And taking what happened
Mm-hmm.
on that video,
Mm-hmm.
you decided to do something very special after that.
Yeah, so with that video, my background is in photography. So I've been a photographer for over 20 years, and I wanted to speak out against racism. So what I did was I called friends and family within my community, and I brought them over to my studio, and I photographed them with racist words written on their face. Not only that, I had children there, and I wrote words of hope. And I put together a video montage of this art project. And I posted that up on social media. And it's a way to, fight against racism. It's my way of speaking up and out against it. And this video also got picked up by the media, and it was shown on the news, which I'm very grateful for that attention that it got. And because of that, I was interviewed by a gentleman named Alan Lau. He's with Asian Global Press, and he was doing a piece for Asian Heritage Month, because now we've rolled into May of that year. And after the interview, he came up to me with this incredible idea, and I can't take credit for it at all.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying Coquitlam really didn't have a multicultural festival. And something that he was thinking about for years was to do something that's multicultural based within the city of Coquitlam. And so he came up to me with this idea of doing a dumpling festival. And dumplings, because dumplings is represented in almost every culture in the world, right? There's pierogies, and there's tortellinis, and there's, mandus, and shopaos and sumais. Like, there's just so many different amazing dumplings from every culture. So why not put together a festival where you could bring people from all over, like from every culture, to celebrate in food? Because food is what brings people together. It really, really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's such a great idea, but who am I to put on this festival? I mean, my background is in photography. I kind of thought about it, and I've been in the wedding industry for about 20 years at the time. So I'm like, okay, I have some contacts, but I've never put together a festival ever.
And it's a quite of commitment, like.
It's a big It's a huge commitment, because it's something that, I'm not there to profit off of. I wanted to do something for the community and to give back to the community. So I decided to start up a not-for-profit. And at that time, I did start up a not-for-profit with a few other ladies. And, we put the plans in motion to put this festival together. And so now, this brings us a year later. So after that incident, we plan to do the festival in August of 2022, right? And it was maybe about May of that year, and we were just a few months out to this festival, and things just weren't progressing. We were not in sync. I mean, I think we all had different ideas of what we wanted this festival to look like, and it kind of fell apart. We didn't have sponsors, we didn't have vendors. I mean, I don't think we've realized how much work goes into running a festival, but how difficult it is to obtain all of those things. This is a first-time festival. No one's heard of it. What company is going to give you money to put something on? And especially when we didn't know during that time as well if festivals were really allowed. Because again, at that time, festivals were just starting up again, right? It was the first year where things were starting to take place after, not happening for the past year and a half, 2 years. And so we got to the point where we decided this isn't working out. This group wasn't working out. We're going to have to disband. And I ended up stepping down from that not-for-profit. And I ended up starting up a new not-for-profit because I knew that this festival had to happen. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. The media knew about it. The city was supportive of it. I felt that we were too far to not do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just had this compelling feeling that it just had to happen that year. It was super important. So I started up a new not-for-profit. Not easy to do, to leave one, start up a new one. I had maybe about 2 weeks to get everything together, dealing with lawyers. It was an absolute nightmare during that time. And luckily, we incorporated the Tri-City Asian Arts and Culture Society June 1st of 2022. And now we had 2.5 months to start from scratch, put this festival on. I called every single person I knew. I mean, I called in favors from friends. I asked, anyone I knew, family, to just come and help out in building this festival. And I thought, okay, this is our first year. We need to start small. We need to just really focus and just get something, right? Just the last thing I want is for, thousands of people to show up and not have a festival. So I stopped everything, all my work, and I really focused on getting this festival up and running. 2.5 months. So come festival day, we ended up with 10 food trucks. We had about 10 dumpling vendors there that we managed to round up. I don't know how we did it. We had a kid zone. We had an art zone to celebrate local artists. We had over 100 performers on stage. And surprisingly, people showed up in droves. Like, we were thinking 5,000. I think we told everyone, okay, maybe 5,000 people will show up to this first time event. I think 25,000 people showed up.
Wow, this is 5 times what you
It was
thought.
5 times what we thought. And I think my mouth was on the ground the entire day. Just absolutely floored that, number one, so many people came out from Vancouver, Burnaby, Surrey, from all across Metro Vancouver to come out to this event. Every food vendor sold out of food. Like, this is unheard of. Every food truck sold out of food by dinner time. It was just, and they were all running to the stores. They were running back to their restaurants to get more supply to feed these people. I mean, how do you feed 25,000 people coming to an event?
Yes.
And it was such a big success. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. To have put together a festival of that scale and to also have about 180 volunteers from the local community volunteering for this event. We put up posters everywhere. We contacted schools. We did whatever we could to get the word out there, to get volunteers from the local community. And we're just so blown away at the response from these people. I mean, people, of course, love food, right?
Yes.
So they're definitely coming for that. But I think at the same time, it's not just about the food. It was about, the arts, and it was about the entertainment. And it was, entertainment. There was K-pop dancing and Bhangra dancing and, the Chinese instruments and all of these amazing cultural performances that just brought so many people together. So what do you do after having a first-time festival that's that successful? Well, you have to have a second one.
Yes.
Right? And now we have a full year. We have a framework to put together another event. And so just this past August, we put together our second annual BC Dumpling Festival. And this time, again, it just blew me away. I didn't think it could get any bigger than that, but we ended up with about 40,000 people. We ended up with 28 food vendors. We increased our kids zone to have a larger dedicated space for them. So many kids came out for it. It was fantastic. People put out picnic blankets. They were there for the entire day. And the art zone was great. And we had, over 150 to 200 performances on stage. It was just, to have so many people come together like that for a second year festival. And when I looked at the analytics of where these people were coming in from, again, they were coming in from all across Metro Vancouver, but they were also coming in from Seattle. I saw people, like engaging with our social media through in Alberta. Even people in Toronto, LA were even looking at what we were doing. And so to have that kind of impact, not just locally, but almost international, I think it's so fantastic.
But this is a great success. So I'm sure where there's success, people are looking, like you said. Is there any other area in the Greater Vancouver that you guys are thinking about maybe making another festival or creating something else also?
So putting on a festival is a lot of work. It
Yes.
absolutely is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of manpower. I think by the end of August, the entire team, the entire committee is like, oh my God, we can't do anything else.
Yes.
Until January. But we were really fortunate. We were contacted by Tourism Richmond, and they loved what we did with the festival. They loved the success of it, and they wanted a piece of it. But we're not going to give them this free outdoor, amazing family event. I think this festival is specifically for the Tri-Cities, and we definitely want to keep it there. But Richmond is also a fantastic place, and there was another idea that we were thinking about doing, and it's something that we came up with. So it is the dumpling tasting soiree.
Oh,
So
soirée.
soiree, yes. So it's going to be more of like a date night evening event. It will be ticketed. We'll have about 8 to 10 dumpling vendors that are there, all competing for the best dumpling. So we'll have prizes for, best tasting, best plated presentation, um, you know, judge's choice, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll have the best overall. So it'll be fun because people will be able to try the different dumplings. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people, when they come out to the big festival, the lineups are so long that they can't try out all of the dumplings, and people really want to. So this gives them an opportunity to actually try all of the dumplings from these amazing chefs that are cooking these dumplings for us. They might make some very special dumplings specific for this event. And so, they get to try these amazing dumplings. We'll have some alcohol pairings and stuff like that. We'll have a silent auction to help raise funds, and partial proceeds will go to the Richmond Hospital Foundation. So we're super excited about that. And we just got word that RBC is our title sponsor for that event. So, to have the BC Dumpling Festival and then to also have this next event, the soiree, is it's going to be really exciting. So March 2nd is the date for that soiree. Tickets are on sale right now, and we're super, super excited about that.
It's also going to be a dumpling multicultural dumpling style. It's going to be more Asian.
It's, you know what, we're having a mix of different chefs.
Okay.
So there will be different styles of dumplings for sure, but we want to give them the the creativity to come up with a dumpling, even to do something totally special. So it doesn't need to be part of their cultural background, but it could just be anything that they come up with.
So we are also a lot talking about inclusivity right now. And I'm wondering, how do you ensure there's inclusivity into your events?
For sure. So what we came up with is we want to make something different for every year at the festival. And the first year, was kind of just the festival as presented. And the second year, what we did was we came up with celebrating a different country every year. So the last one that we just did this year, we celebrated the country of Korea. So we had a lot more Korean performances on stage. We had a Korean pavilion that was there, and it really gives people the ability to go and try, you know, different Korean products or check out the arts and the entertainment. And every year we plan on promoting a different country. So I think that's such an amazing way to kind of show off all of the different amazing communities that we have living in Metro Vancouver and really to teach people a little bit more about those countries.
Mm-hmm. And this year in the Tri-Cities, when it's going to be the Dumpling Festival?
So the festival will be August 10 of 2024. We also are planning on adding in a date prior, so August 9th, to do some performances on stage as well.
So 2 days.
So we are expanding and
Yay.
Possibly doing like a 2-day event.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So every year is different and every year is growing. That's great. I want to touch on something now. What would you say to someone that is victim of some racism comments like you experienced?
I mean, I would say speak up and speak out. I think growing up as an Asian, you know, I grew up with quite a bit of racism growing up.
Because you were local to the Tri-Cities?
Born and raised in Port Moody, so
Okay.
I've lived here my entire life, but my parents are immigrants from Korea, and we owned a Western style restaurant in West Vancouver. It was called Beano's. And for an Asian family and parents that don't speak English very well, for them to have a restaurant in West Vancouver was very challenging at that time in the 80s. And as a young child being there, I saw a lot of racism. People would walk in, they would look at us, and they would just walk right out. Or they would, you know, say these awful chants, these racist words and slurs. It was just something that my parents have experienced quite a bit. But my parents had always said, don't speak up, don't speak out, don't say anything, don't rock the boat, you know, just put your head down, do your work, and that's it, right? Just forget about it. And I mean, that worked maybe at that time. It might have worked for them. But when I think about it, if people have any sort of experience, I think they need to talk about it. They need to share about it. You know, things like that get bottled up inside, and I wouldn't want that to happen to my kids. So if something happened to my kids, I want them to tell me about it. But I also want them to tell their friends about it and say, hey, this is happening and this shouldn't happen. So what can we do about it?
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Gina, and is there anything else, any other scoop you want to give us today, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, with our not-for-profit, it's not just about the festival. What we really wanted to do was right after our first year festival, we came up with, we worked with a local author and illustrator, Kirsten Hepburn. She is fantastic, a friend of mine as well. And we came up with The Lost Dumpling. And it's an amazing book about multiculturalism. It is a children's book. I say ages, you know, maybe from about 6 to 10 years old. And what we did is we donated these books to all of the elementary schools within the Tri-Cities, also to Burnaby, to Maple Ridge. We're just going to be giving also these books to Richmond. We're connecting with Surrey and also Vancouver as well. So we want this book to be across all of the schools in Metro Vancouver. And we are coming up with another book as well. So the book is pretty much done. I should be getting a copy of the new book soon. And again, it follows along with these amazing dumpling characters that are in the book. So we are super
And that's your little
excited about that.
mascot?
Yeah, and then this is something, I mean, I think everyone is in love with these dumpling characters. So this is our first plushie that we're just coming out with. It's called Jia, and it's the Jiaozi dumpling. It's a Chinese dumpling, and it is our kind of main character that we have in our logo. And I think parents, kids, everyone will love these squishies. So
Well, we love them. My children love them. They're really in right now, so that's going to be a big hit. It's probably already is, but that's a great idea. And what the second book will be about?
So the second book is we're connecting it to the country that we just celebrated. And so the title of the book is Bu Mandu. And mandu is a Korean dumpling. And I can't wait for you to read it because it's, as much as I love the first book, I really am in love with the second book. It just speaks volumes to being yourself and having your own individual flavor.
And is every year you will have a like third, fourth, fifth book? Is it the vision right
Yes,
now?
that's the vision.
Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a lot of things that we're working on, but definitely the books, because at the end of the day, you know, to teach people about racism, it starts in childhood, and this is how I we want to give back to the community. It's not just this festival, but to, you know, to utilize some of the money that we make from the festival into putting into these children's books that we could donate.
Oh, that's fantastic. I have two little ones, and they love any kind of stories, but I've never actually came across a books on any little dumplings, little
Yeah,
little
it's so cute.
personage.
And everyone absolutely loves the book. So
I think it's a great idea.
yeah, I'll definitely give one to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
It will definitely hit home. Well, thank you so much, Gina. And I feel like you took an example of racism and transformed it into celebration and multicultural celebration. So thank you for that. I think first of all, it's not something that is easy to do, but I love that you had a vision and you created something bigger than what was in
Yeah.
front of you at that moment, right? Sometimes we don't know, but the leap of faith is so important. So thank you for that. I think it's important to be said, definitely.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to speak about this and just this platform to be able to speak up and speak out against
Yes.
racism.
Well,
So
we'll
thank
have you again on the show for sure.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So from La Société francophone de Maillardville, the Tri-Cities Community Television, and myself, Genevieve Carl Lefebvre, thank you for joining us.